love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I know you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, this is my story. All my life you have been faithful. This is my song. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. All my days, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. The Lord our God is ever faithful. He's never changing through the ages. From this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we will sing. You're the Lord our God. The Lord our God is. He's faithful and never changes. From this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we'll sing. You're the one we love, you're the one we trust, yes. Relying on you for every moment, yes. I know who goes before you. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Goes before, stands behind, stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side. You're by our side. You've never left. We thank you, Jesus. We trust you, God. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. I love you, Lord, and my strength. I love you, Lord, my shield. And I love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you. We look to you, God. We trust you in any season. You're there with us. We trust you, God. Come on, let's sing this together. Sing hallelujah. 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 With everything inside of me, yeah, I raise a hallelujah, and I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery, yeah. I raise a hallelujah. Fear because you hold on me. Oh, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Oh, from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Oh, I'm gonna say in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. From the ashes, hope will rise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Even when I don't see it, even when I don't feel it, you're working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Yes, God, you're always working. Come on. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 God is who you are. That 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 is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, you never stop. Let's sing it out. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus Christ, my living
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Birmingham Bible Church Winning Wednesday. Welcome all of our Facebookers, our YouTubers. We are on Instagram, on Twitter, and now we are on LinkedIn. So, welcome everyone. It is 12 noon Central Standard Time here in Birmingham, Alabama. And good afternoon to you. If you're watching from a different time zone, good morning. But just wherever you are, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us. And of course, as some of you know, this is a time where we like to bring about our guests on, our special guests, to educate you, to inspire you, and to encourage you. And we always have them discuss various topics that is for your life and for your living. So if you have any questions on today, any comments on today, make sure you put those questions on our Facebook chat room, and we will get to them as soon as we can. And so on today, we are discussing a very important topic. So we want you to share it with your colleagues, with your friends, and with your family. But we are going to be talking about financial literacy. And so when we talk about literacy, most people think about, reading and writing, and that is true. But it also means having knowledge about a particular subject or a particular area. And so on today, we want to gain all the knowledge that we can as pertaining to our finances, as pertaining to investing, as pertaining to budgeting and saving. And so we want to get all the ways and all the techniques so that we can all be financially smart. So why is this important? Well, I looked at the calendar and it is almost November. This year is just flying by. And so with that, there's Christmas, there's shopping, and maybe there's some new resolutions. And so we want to make sure that we're all not out there overspending and just being responsible financially. And so we wanted to bring a new face to the audience. Someone who is very well educated in this area, who is very well trained, and his name is Deacus Wright. He is out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he is the founder of Decatur Capital Management. And so he's going to come on and tell you a little bit about himself. But he does have a Master of Science degree in economics. He is a contributor and has been a contributor on CNBC, Fast Money Halftime Report. And so more than that, he's just a great person. Pastor Mason and I, we actually linked up with him years ago in Atlanta at the same church. And so it's amazing how our paths have just come to full circle. And so I introduce to you all Deacus Wright. Hello, Deacus.
Hello, Sister Pam. And once again, thank you for that welcome. And I have to say that many years ago, I sat in a class with your husband, Reverend Mason, and he took my wife and I through the financial planning for couples. And that started us on our journey to success. So first of all, I want to thank you and your family for what you meant to us in our Christian ministry. And so once again, thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation, for accepting it. And so tell us, how did you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your accolades, but also how did you get into this before you start with your presentation?
Well, the way that I got involved with financial management is that I determined that it's important to build what I refer to as generational wealth. And one of the ways of doing that is being a business owner and understanding how to build financial wealth for generations. So be able to build generational wealth that you can pass on. And so as an entrepreneur, I'm getting to do that with my family and to teach the tenets of prudent financial management to be able to pass on to the next generation. So that was the motivation for me to start the firm over 20 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome. It's amazing you say that because that's something, especially when COVID hit, we really been pushing our people, hey, this is the time to start your own business. And so we had a couple of things to kind of get people started in that. But yeah, so that is a great incentive. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. So tell us, you can either start your presentation or you can continue to tell about your degrees or whatever, but however you want to flow.
Well, thank you, Sister Pam. And so what I will do is that I will set up because I'm going to approach this a little bit differently. I'm going to use a video to really get into this discussion. And we're going to break this down. And so the videos that I will be sharing with you are videos that you and your audience can go to in the future if you want to really gain more information. And so these videos were put together by the Atlanta Society of Financial and Investment Professionals. And I will share the link with Sister Pam and she could share with you. But I wanted to leave something with you that you can continue to look at and refer to. And so we're going to really look at this from a vantage point of investing in you. We're going to say live with less, manage risk, and then lastly, invest for you. And there's 4 different segments. And after each segment, I will come on and just summarize with a personal story how you can utilize each segment. So with that, I'm going to take over the screen and share my screen.
These pieces, or principles, help you to frame your financial well-being. The principle of invest in you has 3 components for success: education, health, contentment. Let's look at why making ongoing investments in education are critical to achieving financial well-being. An investment in education has been shown to yield financial, professional, and personal benefits. According to billionaire investor Warren Buffett, the most important investment you can make is in yourself. Don't just take his word for it. A study by the Federal Reserve of New York has determined that over your working life, a degree will increase your earnings by $300,000 on average. This includes the cost of tuition, time lost, and inflation. Further research on education, specific to millennials, found a strong correlation between salary and education level. In other words, the more you learn, the more you earn. The same study also found that the unemployment rate was much lower for millennials with higher education levels compared with their less educated peers. The bottom line is that as your education increases, so do your earnings, while the likelihood of unemployment significantly decreases. And while the research mentioned focuses on the benefits of a college education, there are actually many forms of learning that you can benefit from in meaningful ways to increase your financial well-being. Let's examine them. The first and most obvious is earning a college or advanced degree. You'll develop expertise in a field which can help you advance in your job or provide you with the flexibility to change careers. Next are relevant certifications. You can gain expertise in a particular area with less investment in time and money than with a degree. Find out what certifications are held by senior practitioners and managers in your field, and then decide if achieving these same certifications would benefit your career in the long run. You can also attend workshops and conferences. Many of these events are free and are usually easy to enroll in. Almost all industries have associations that hold conferences where you can learn about important topics in your professional field, in addition to networking with others. Lastly, reading publications, articles, and watching instructional videos are excellent ways to educate yourself on your own time and increase your knowledge about fields that you're interested in. There's no shortage of online content created by leaders in any industry that you can think of. Make an effort to seek these out. Just some final thoughts to consider. The benefits of education compound throughout your life, without limit. This includes certifications, self-learning, online courses, and more. There is a proven relationship between your education level and your financial well-being later in life. So invest in your education, seek new knowledge, and never stop learning to become more successful and find fulfillment in work and in life. Thanks to all of our sponsors and well-being. And speaking of well-being, it becomes extremely hard to reach your goals without the proper mindset. Physical, and especially mental well-being, are the foundations of financial well-being, and that means investing in you first before tackling other opportunities. Clinical research shows that only a small percentage of the variation in people's happiness can be explained by differences in their circumstances, but more so by thoughts and behaviors. True happiness is the ability to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. In other words, live for today and make every moment count. To start that, we need to examine a few concepts, such as satisfaction. Contentment is crucial for mental and financial well-being because learning to spend less requires being content with what you have. Many people feel spending more is exciting and proves financial success, but it doesn't always lead to personal fulfillment. If you are never satisfied with what you earn, you can spend too much and get into excessive debt, which would have an adverse effect on the quality of your life in the future. You could actually be hurting your financial well-being. Studies show that having a salary above $75,000 does not lead to much higher levels of satisfaction. There is a graphic that illustrates this concept. It's called the fulfillment curve. You can see that once you get past survival and comforts, luxuries signals the beginning of less satisfaction with more consumption. But we can define contentment and what leads to it better. The key drivers to contentment include devoting time to family and friends, appreciating what you have, maintaining an optimistic outlook, feeling a sense of purpose, living in the moment. And prayer and meditation for just 20 minutes per day are shown to create greater peace of mind. Some helpful exercises you can practice are 5-minute breathing exercises, walking in a quiet park or similar natural environment, meditation routines, keeping a journal or drawing or painting, and recognize your feelings for what they are. According to the Center for Disease Control, well-being integrates mental and physical health and decreases the risk of injury and illness. You are lowering your healthcare costs. A better immune system and increased longevity are also associated with higher levels of mental well-being. The CDC also notes that individuals with high levels of well-being are more productive at work and more likely to contribute to their families and communities. So we hope you realize, on the steps to achieve financial well-being, you also need to attain physical and mental well-being. As you work on well-being, you will find it much easier to reach the goals you have set for yourself. Thanks to all of our sponsors and volunteers for making this possible. View other videos in this series to help you on your journey to financial literacy. Education, health, contentment. Let's look at why making ongoing investments in your health are critical to achieving financial well-being. What's the best investment you can make in your life? Stocks? Real estate? Precious metals? No, It's you. You are your number one asset. You probably knew that, and that's why you're doing your best to get a great education and a career so you can meet your goals no matter what they are. But to help make sure you're successful, you'll need to be physically and psychologically fit so you have the energy to accomplish the things on your list. That's why developing healthy habits is so important to your financial well-being. Exercising and healthy eating habits lead to less stress. Less stress creates more energy at work, which creates better performance. Better performance leads to more compensation, which leads to less stress and fewer health-related expenses. This is called a virtuous circle, where one success creates another, which in turn creates more success in a feedback loop of positive results. And with good health, like anything you want to attain in life, there are best practices you should follow to enhance the investment in yourself so you can receive the greatest payoff. So let's talk about how to protect your good health by making smart choices in 3 key areas: exercise, food choices, and health insurance. Exercise. Be active often to increase your mental and physical well-being. How much exercise? 15 minutes of vigorous exercise 5 days a week, or walking for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or some combination of the two should do it. Studies show that exercise helps to improve memory and brain function, increase your happiness, and give you more energy. Regular exercise is a key part of keeping the momentum of your virtuous circle alive. Next are food choices. You need to give your body high-quality fuel by choosing healthy foods in proper portions. Healthy eating involves taking control of how much and what types of food you eat, as well as the beverages you drink. Try to replace foods high in sugar, calories, and unhealthy fats, such as fried food, with fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and low-fat dairy foods. Learn to read food labels by paying attention to the number of servings contained in the package, noting the calorie and nutrition content per serving. Watch your food portion size. How much you eat is just as important as what you eat. Use rules of thumb like this to judge proper portions. As a general rule, half of your plate should contain green vegetables. Fill the side with vegetables first. Then divide the other half between lean protein and whole grains. Finally, health insurance. Insurance is important because it gives you access to regular checkups and maintenance to keep you in good health, and also protects your wealth and financial stability in the event you need medical care. Talk with the human resources contact in your company or a health insurance broker to learn about your choices. So let's sum it all up. Good habits are the key to keeping your virtuous circle of healthy living and financial well-being going. Exercising for 20 to 30 minutes, 5 days a week can create lasting benefits. Making smart choices when it comes to food is important. Focus on including lean proteins and vegetables while limiting fried food, sweets, and sodas, and strive for proper portion sizes. Purchasing health insurance is a worthwhile investment to maintain your health and protect your wealth. Focusing on these areas will help you reduce your healthcare expenses, improve your ability to succeed at your job, and contribute to the improvement of your overall happiness and well-being. And that's how you invest in you. Thanks to all our sponsors.
And so, Sister Pam, as you see, this is starting out a little bit different because we really want to emphasize investing in you first. And so I have just a couple of stories. We talk about education, and I wanted to just put out there, have you ever been in a situation that you may feel embarrassed? Well, I have a story that goes back to I was an 8th grader. I was taking algebra. And as you know, algebra is a math course, and I use math every day now. But back there in 8th grade, when I was taking that algebra course, I was so afraid of people thinking ill of me that I just sat there in class and didn't understand what was going on. And because of that, I made the lowest grade that I can remember in school. I made a D. And when I took that D on my report card home to my mom and dad, they looked at me and said, well, what's the problem? Why didn't you do better than a D? And I said, well, I did my best. Well, Sister Pam, mothers know how to ask questions. And so my mother kept asking the question, okay, what was the real reason why you made that D? And then eventually I said to my mother, well, Mom, I didn't want them to think I was stupid. And she looked at me and said, son, your father and I cannot help you with this math, because you have to know that those other kids in the class, they may have brothers and sisters or fathers or mothers that can help them. And so if you're going to understand and get this information, you're going to have to do it on your own, because we can't help you. And I realized that at that moment, because my mom would do anything for me, which for her to tell me she couldn't help me took a lot from her. And so I knew from that day forward that I was going to make better grades. And so the next day I went into that class, and the teacher probably got tired of me asking questions. But I raised my hand and I raised my hand. And then eventually that next report card had an A on it. And so I want to share with you is that education is key, because obviously I use math every day now. But then if I hadn't asked those questions, I may not have overcome that fear of being judged ill, being misjudged. So that's the first thing, education. Second thing, years later, I was a freshman at West Point, United States Military Academy at West Point. And we talked about content. You have to be content. You have to have feeling of satisfaction. And they talked about meditation and prayer. Well, at this time, I obviously didn't have my parents with me. I didn't have that motivational factor or force. So what I did is that I took a scripture verse, and my scripture verse was 1 Corinthians 10th chapter 13th verse. And it talks about that no temptation that you are facing is uncommon to man. God is faithful, and he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can endure. He will allow you to escape, and also he will allow you to endure it. And so I put that on a 3x5 card on my desk. And every time I felt that I was being challenged or I felt down, I looked at that card. That was my meditation. So what I share with you is that you have to invest in yourself. Education, contentment. And so what we're going to talk about now is living with less, because everything we're talking about, it doesn't require you to have money. That's the first thing people say, well, I don't have any money to be financially literate with. Well, we're starting with first investing in you. And now we're going to talk about live with less. So I will take over the screen again.
And Deacons, while you're pulling that up, I like the part of the video that says, people can get an education, but it's also about reading things to help educate yourself. So you may not be going to a college or a tech school, but at least educating yourself. There's so much stuff on the internet now that you can educate yourself with. So I really like that part of the video as well.
Exactly. Great point.
Enterprise Information Resources.
Resources. Live to maximize your well-being and do it as efficiently as you can. with less. And the basic foundation for achieving financial wellness is making a budget and, of course, sticking to it. The main idea of a budget is don't spend more than you make, which leads to debt. Debt can severely limit your ability to achieve your longer-term goals. Think about it. A budget is really just a plan. And if you write it down and share it, you have a 70% greater chance of succeeding. If you were going on a trip, would you want to know where you were going so you had enough resources for the whole journey? You would first create a travel plan, where to stay and what to see. Funny enough, that's where a budget comes into play too. Creating a budget will help you reach your goals in record time. So granted, budgeting your money is a good thing. Here are some practical steps you can take to start building your budget and tips for following it to achieve maximum results. The first thing you need is to break your funds down into 3 main areas. 1, paying yourself. 2, spending on needs. And 3, spending on wants. Percentage-wise, it breaks down like this. 20% of your net income should be paying yourself. Next is allocating 50% of your funds to needs, which are housing, food, utilities, and car payments. Lastly is putting away 30% on wants. Those are nice to haves, like a pair of new shoes or entertainment, but things you don't necessarily need to live. Here's an example. Let's say you make $3,000 per month after taxes and other deductions. So the amount we pay ourselves is 20% or $600. Our needs, which equals our monthly bills, is 50% or $1,500. And our wants equals 30%, $900. When you have an unexpected expense, your wants is where you cut back to keep on track. Don't touch your savings or needs. Let's unpack needs next. Housing and rent equals $600, which, by the way, should never exceed 25% of your income. $250 is for transportation expenses, $250 for food, and $400 for utilities and insurance. Next comes your wants. Entertainment budget is $300. Travel estimate is $150. Cable and phone charges equal $150, and other expenses shouldn't go over $300. Review monthly income and expenses against the budget at a set time each month and ask yourself these questions. Are the variances one-time or ongoing? Are they controllable or out of control? And why? As in accomplishing anything, practice makes perfect. Try estimating your budget and then use the cash and envelope system for 30 days. Think about each time you spend cash by calculating how many hours of work it costs to earn an item. It takes discipline and hard work, but it pays off in the end for no one else but yourself. Thanks to all our sponsors.
Have you heard of shrinkflation? First helps you reach your goals easier, no matter if it's for short-term needs or one of the longest-term needs, retirement. Many would consider saving for retirement a positive idea, but because retirement is so distant, many young people kick the can down the road. Today, Social Security is not meant to support an average person in retirement. And the future is clouded with possible downturns in the economy and governmental changes to existing programs. Most people realize they miss their opportunity for saving for retirement as they get older. And then it may be too late to catch up because of other cash flow issues. So we want you to see how easy it is to get started by setting aside small amounts of every paycheck now. And through the earning of compound interest, you're able to build up a sizable retirement nest egg. Women are especially susceptible to retirement shortfall due to potential interruptions in their working career, a longer lifespan, and allocating too much toward low-risk investments. Here are some simple tips that can help you achieve your retirement dream. How much money will you need to live when you retire? To identify this number, use an online retirement calculator. View your retirement savings as part of your monthly plan and incorporate that into your budget. You should select investments that pay compound interest, which are the best tools for fighting inflation. The easiest way to save money is by having your employer automatically take it out of your check. It's much easier to stick to your plan when you don't have to act. The most popular retirement savings options are 401k plans and IRAs. 401ks are employer-sponsored retirement plans that are taxed when funds are withdrawn. Contributions are from pre-tax money, meaning the money won't be taxed the year it was earned. As a bonus incentive, many employers match your retirement fund contributions. Look at the matches as a 100% return on your money. There are many investment approaches. You can also diversify your investments into a variety of asset types, such as stocks, bonds, commodities, or real estate, which can help you smooth out a downturn in a particular economic sector. You can make adjustments in your investment strategy throughout the years. Some follow a more aggressive approach when you're younger. Others follow a more conservative approach when you're close to retiring. Another suggestion is to find out what the plan management fees are before investing. And every time you get a raise, allocate some of the increase to your retirement plans. Also, bonuses and tax refunds are great opportunities to accelerate your retirement plan. Once you're contributing to your plan, stick with it, even when things get tough. Because hard times pass, but your retirement years can last decades. You want to live out those days the best you can because you deserve it. So find out how you can get started right now. Thanks to all our sponsors.
And so, Sister Pam, so you see how we can basically live with less. And that really talked about budgeting and putting away money for retirement. So when I was growing up, I was working at the commissary on Fort Benning, and my job was to bag the groceries. And once I bagged the groceries, I took the groceries out to the car of the person, and they would give us a tip. And so we worked for tips only. Now, part of that is that when I was there working, I realized, and we would work, for a full day, and I realized that by going out with my friends to lunch, that I would be eating lunch. It would take me about 2 hours to remake that money that I used for lunch. So what I started doing is I started taking lunch, bringing lunch from home. I would get up that morning, make my lunch, and take it and eat it in the car, and then ultimately would go back to working. And I realized that I was actually making 2 hours more money now because I was bringing to work lunch from home. So that's something, live with less. And so, and that's what that talks about. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at managing risk. And this is going to talk about credit and debt. So I'm going to share the screen.
ASFIP Foundation promotes pieces of a frame. Our 4 principles help you frame your future. The principle of manage risk has 3 components for success: credit and debt, avoid fraud, and emergency fund. We will now review some of the steps in the area of credit and debt which you need as you pursue financial well-being. Hey, how's your credit score? Is it up there or down there? You need debt to start building your credit score, but it's a double-edged sword. A credit score is a 3-digit number assigned to a person that indicates to lenders their ability to repay a loan and ranges from 300 to 850. Lenders use credit scores to determine who qualifies for a loan, at what interest rate, and at what amount. A good credit score can save you over $100,000 over your lifetime by allowing you to get lower interest rates on mortgages, auto, and student loans. Because a low score may keep you from getting loans or a credit card with low interest rates, you can find out exactly what your credit score is by contacting one of the popular credit rating services, such as TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax. A variety of factors contribute to your credit score: payment history, amount of debt, length of your credit history, new credit, and your credit mix. So, let's say your score is low. First, you're not alone. But second, there are steps you can take to improve your credit score. Here are some tips. Pay your loans on time every time. Always target loans with higher interest rate first. Paying a little more than the required payment is always a good idea to help balances go down faster. One way to make sure your payments are on time is to set up automatic payments or set up electronic reminders. If you've missed payments, get current and stay current. Don't get close to your credit limit. If you close some credit card accounts and put most of your credit card balances onto one card, it may hurt your credit score if this means that you are using a high percentage of your total credit limit. Experts advise keeping your use of credit at no more than 30% of your total credit limit. If you do use credit cards, paying off the balance each month will help you get better scores. Credit scores are based on experience over time. The more experience your credit report shows with paying your loans on time, the more information there is to determine whether you are a good credit recipient. Only apply for credit that you need. If you apply for a lot of credit over a short period of time, it may appear to lenders that your economic circumstances have changed for the worse, and this can negatively affect your credit score. If you have old credit card accounts you are not using, keep an eye on them to avoid fraud. A credit report is a report of an individual's credit history that provides details of what makes up a person's credit score. If you have tried to be proactive and you're still struggling with significant debt, consider contacting a debt relief service like a credit card counselor or a debt settlement agency that can advise you on managing your money and debts. Paying careful attention to the factors that impact your credit score will simplify your life and secure your financial well-being. Thanks to all our sponsors and
So, Sister Pam, you see that, and what happens, and this is for definitely for young people just getting started, because what happens is that the first time you get a mailer from a credit card company is when you're in college. And what happens with college students, I have 2 adult children now, and they've been through this. The first thing they do is that if you get that credit card in that dorm room and you think you could just spend, but this is a lesson that you want to be able to control your spending. And that video talked a lot about how you can be a better steward of that credit card.
And I had a question about that, Deacons. And so if you have a child, once they move out, they get on their own and they're trying to get an apartment or trying to get a car, then if they don't have any credit, it's also a negative. So should they get one, but then parents monitor the credit card, or don't let them have the credit card and they keep the credit card? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Great question. So this actually goes back even before they leave home, is that you want to set up a checking and a savings account with your child. And I remember that my parents did that for me. I had the passbook savings account growing up. And so what that does is that you have a relationship with the bank and your child has a relationship with the bank. And so one of the first things you can do with that is that they can get a debit card. And so the debit card is going to be obviously tied to their account. The next thing you do, because you have the relationship with the bank, if you start your teenager with a bank account, what they can then do, they can then qualify for what's called a student credit card that has a very limited balance on it. And so because you've started that relationship with the bank, because that's very important for parents to start the relationship with your child with a bank, then they have a history. They have a credit card that has a limited, a low amount on it. And that's something that you share with your child that you want to pay that off. And if it's tied to their checking account, usually as a parent, you do have access to that account. You'll be able to see how that child is treating that account. And that's something that you can use as a parenting tool to work for your child to really teach them the best way of managing their credit.
Awesome. Thank you.
And so the last video we're going to watch is going to be talking about Invest For You.
Savings accounts for your goals and future needs, such as achieving higher education, traveling, getting a car, making a home purchase, saving for retirement, or anything else in your future. After creating your emergency fund with spare cash, and if you plan well, you will have some, you should consider investing it to make it grow. Investing is a great opportunity to build wealth and provide security for yourself down the road. That's why companies do it. Governments, pension funds, and even universities invest in stocks, bonds, and other assets. They are preparing for the future. Okay, so you probably agree that investing is a good idea, but you may be asking yourself, what are the different kinds of investments out there? How do they work? And where do I start? There are many things you can invest in, ranging from stocks and bonds to homes and other assets. Let's focus on investments you can choose in a brokerage account or in your retirement plan. The first is stocks. Also known as equities, stocks represent partial ownership of one or more companies. Stocks have high return potential over long periods of time, but tend to be more volatile than other investments. Stocks are growth assets and are necessary to protect the purchasing power of your money. Inflation, cost increases of goods and services, can eat into your ability to buy. $100 in 10 years will not buy what it buys today. The second most popular type of investments are bonds. Also known as fixed income investments, bonds are designed to create a steady stream of income. Bonds are generally safer than stocks, but offer a lower return potential. These are commonly referred to as defensive assets. Mutual funds own a combination of stocks or bonds and are less risky than a single stock or bond. It can be good to own several mutual funds that participate in various parts of the economy. Most importantly, you need to balance returns with risk in making your decision, which, by the way, changes all the time. But the sage advice is to have patience. Stick to a disciplined investment schedule and to diversify your investments. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And don't panic if there are sudden dips in the value of your investments, because there has always been a cycle of ups and downs in our economy. You are in this for the long haul, and you just want to monitor your assets accordingly. You can always get advice from a professional if you have questions or are concerned. Remember, a tree grows tall and strong without you watching it, and so will your investment portfolio. Thanks to all of our
So obviously that talks about investing for you. And one of the things you want to do is that, as we talked about and mentioned, an emergency fund. So you want to put that together first to cover a couple of months of expenses, 2 to 3 months of expenses, and that emergency fund. Now, one strategy to do that is to open up a Roth individual retirement account, because the money goes in and you can actually withdraw it in the future. That will be basically at no taxes once you withdraw it, because it goes in taxable. So that's just one strategy of using a Roth IRA. But you want to set up an emergency fund, and then you can start investing. Once you have that emergency fund, then the next step is to do investments. But we've talked about 4 different aspects of financial well-being. And with that, Pam, I'll open it up for questions.
No, that was good. I like how you started the video off with generational knowledge or generational wealth. And Pastor Mason and I, we talk all the time how, the stuff that we know now, it wasn't taught to us. It was just trial and error and a lot of mistakes and bumps on our heads. But we're now passing on the information to our children. I like the fact that we not only need to pass on to them financial literacy, but also eating habits, exercise. If certain things run in your family, then educate your children on how to eat properly. I think that's so important and so key. I don't see any questions in the chat room. And I think it covered in the video. That was one question I had before. When someone's, looking for a house or looking for a car, what should that percentage be again, for how much they should spend? I thought the video said 25% for a house, but I wrote it. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
Right. Yeah. So what you want to look at is that for your housing expense should be about 30% and no greater than 30%.
Okay.
And then as it relates to your needs, that's going to be that 50%.
Okay. And then what is one of the areas that couples, and Pastor Mason preaches this and has taught this, that couples argue about is communication, sex, and money. And so when it comes to money, how can couples be on the same page?
Well, this is a great question. And so one of the things is that you want to talk about budgeting. And if you do it together, now there's obviously different aspects of this. Some people say that you should have a joint account, a joint checking account, because that forces you to talk about money, because ultimately, and I know this for personal experience, if you're not talking, you could overdraw the account. So it forces you to talk about what's in the account and what's your budget. One of the things that in Reverend Mason's class many years ago, he talked about, you want to write down your budget, and then you want to write down your expenses, and almost keep a notebook on all your expenses. And that way allows you now to go review it. So I would say the most important thing is to communicate. And communication is going to be forced if you share a checking account for your household expenses.
That's good. Yeah, you're right. And on that note, there's an idea out there that, she has hers and he has his, but you're right. Nobody's communicating. Nobody knows what's being paid, what's being saved. And so, no, you're right. That's something Pastor would amen on, is making sure you have a joint account so that you are communicating about things like that. And so this is the last thing I have. With Decatur Capital Management, are you able to help people with establishing those Roth IRAs, helping them with investment, retirement? Do you help with anything of that nature?
Yes, we do. And so what I would ask individuals that may be interested in working with us to go to our website. It's www.decaturcapital.com. And Sister Pam, if you can maybe put that out there and share it with the audience, that'll be great. But once again, decaturcapital.com. Go to our website. You'll see a contact page and leave a message for us.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to put that in the chat room, decaturcapital.com.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Deaconess, for this great informative segment. You've given us a lot of things to think about. So everyone, make sure if you have any questions, if you want Deaconess Wright and his firm to help you with your getting right on the right path, then please contact them at decaturcapital.com. Before you go, Deacons, we're going to have a couple of announcements for our viewers, but then at the end of those announcements, I want you to just give us a few more tips, something you want to leave with us, and then we will be dismissed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us on today. Of course, our theme for this year for Birmingham Bible Church is Reconstruction 21. And so on today, we are believing God that He is going to reconstruct everything in your life, especially your finances. So make sure you do all you can. Make sure you're doing your part in this reconstruction period. And then we are streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, and we are also now on LinkedIn, so make sure you watch us there as well. We have a church app. All you have to do is go to your app store, My Sunday, which is one word, download Birmingham Bible Church, and then you can make sure you are staying abreast and posted on everything that's going on with Birmingham Bible Church, all the events. You can even watch services through the app, so you can do that and download that on today. To receive text messages, please text BBC WW to 94253. Text BBC WW to 94253. And then we have a business directory that is free of charge. Of course, Deacons, you can be a part of it as well. Simply go to our website at bhambc.org. You will scroll at the bottom. You'll click on business directory and then key in your information. Your business will be a part of not only our church's website, but a part of a 50,000 plus database. And so you want to take advantage of that on today. And then every Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m., we have a study in the scriptures with Dr. James H. Mason III. We are walking through the book of Philippians. We are having a great time. And just in case you missed it, no worries. You can go back and watch it, of course, because we are on all the social media outlets. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the My Sunday app as well. And then on today, you heard from Deaconess Wright. He is the Chief Investment Officer. He is with Decatur Capital Management, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. If you want his services, if you seek his services, the website is www.decaturcapital.com. On next week, we have another awesome speaker, Robert Marshall, who's going to be talking about bullying, and not just in schools, bullying in the workplace, social media, home. So he's going to deal with all that stuff, and he has an awesome testimony. So make sure you watch us next week as well, October 27th, 12 noon Central Standard Time. Every Sunday, Pastor is dealing with a different issue for the family. That is right. We are in our family issues sermon series. So excited about all the great topics that Pastor is preaching about. You do not want to miss this Sunday. Don't forget, this Sunday, we're going to have two services, special two services. He's going to be dealing with single issues and divorce issues. You do not want to miss that. So two services, we're going to actually be showing and make sure we get all the information out there to you guys. But we're having two services at 8 o'clock and at 11. 8 o'clock and 11 this Sunday. Then our prayer room call is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 in the morning. That number is 727-731-0433. Again, that number is 727-731-0433. We are having an awesome time in the prayer room. Please make sure you set your calendars for that as well. And then we have all kind of BBC virtual hangouts. COVID did not stop BBC. We are doing some great things even in the virtual space. And so, of course, we have various virtual hangouts for our children, for our women, couples, teens. We've been having game nights, but we also have our small groups. We're going to make sure that we get that started back the first weekend in November. So November the 6th, of course, you will get the information on that, but we are going to be continuing to tame our tongue, which is the booklet that we are reading. And then this is what this Women's Empowerment Conference that was last Saturday, Saturday just passed. We had an awesome time. These women did a great job. Go back and watch it. Our theme was built by God. So go back and watch it on all of our social media outlets. It was just a powerful move of God. Of course, if you want to order your shirt built by God, please see Nikila Huggins. Her number is 205-915 7989 to get your Built by God t-shirt. And then Saturday, October the 30th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're having a World Mental Health Conference. It is World Mental Health Month, the month of October. We have some great speakers who are going to be talking about different topics for our mental health. We have overcoming anxiety, depression, even loving someone who has a mental disorder. So please make sure you share the word on that Saturday, October 30th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, for all of our BBC children, we're having a drive-by trunk or treat. The Candy Mobile is coming to you Saturday, October the 30th from 1 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. You get to dress up in your favorite costume, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to be social distance, and of course, masks are required. And then November, y'all, is National Scholarship Month. Not sure if you knew that, but Ms. Shada Spice is going to be on again. She is going to show us how we can get free money for college. So this is for children. This is for adults. If your child is going to be present, please make sure you are somewhere in the room so they are being attentive. But great information. She has a powerful testimony. She went to school debt-free, no loans, and even had money saved over so that she could have a down payment on her home. So make sure you register with me, Lady Pam at tcowi.org. This will be a private Zoom. This will not be shown on social media. So make sure you email me at ladypam at tcowi.org. And then, of course, November is the 7th year anniversary for our church. It is going to be a November to remember, because up until this point is the Lord who has helped us. And so we are celebrating it big, y'all. We got speakers, preachers, pastors are going to be every Sunday, guest psalmists every Sunday. And then on the second Sunday, we're going to have our drive-up service. We're also going to be giving away free turkeys, one per family. So we're changing the drive-up service. It's not going to be the first Sunday in November. In November, it's going to be the second Sunday. So that's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time in the parking lot of C.W. Hayes, one turkey per family. Our millennials, our young people, they're going to be leading the service. So we're just going to have a great time drive-up style. And then in November, the last Saturday in November, it is Small Business Awareness particular Saturday. And so we're going to highlight all of our business owners. If you are interested in having a virtual recording of your business, please contact me. We're going to do the recording on November the 19th. So make sure you email me at ladypam@tcowi.org. And then we're going to show that recording on Small Business Saturday, which is going to be November 27th. So, of course, thank you, everyone. Just to mention, there's various ways you can give to Birmingham Bible Church. You can give online via Givelify. Go to your app store. You can download Givelify and then locate Birmingham Bible Church. You can mail your tithes in, of course, P.O. Box 360321. Zip code is 35236. You can text to give at 205-289-1938. And you can also give via Cash App, BHAMBC, and also via PayPal, at bhambc.org. And thank you so much for your continued gifts for BBC. Of course, your gifts go toward the 11 Compassion International children that we have. Of course, we're doing that on a monthly basis. So much. Thank you so much for that. It is because of your gifts that we are able to provide for them food and medical supplies, things for their physical growth, their emotional needs, and their educational needs. And then, of course, we are also saving land for our future. We are believing God that we are going to acquire land in the Birmingham area. So thank you so much for giving sacrificially above and beyond your tithes and offers. And just we like to thank everyone for how they continuously support the ministry, how they continue to give to the ministry. So thank you so much for all of that. And as we like to say, make sure you have an awesome week. Stay safe, stay sane, and please stay sanitized. So thank you so much, Deacons, for being with us here on today. Do you have any final words that you have for all of our viewers, our listeners?
I do. And it's a call of action because my vision is to build generational wealth. And everyone that has listened to our discussion today can be a part of that vision. And all you have to do is share the videos that we talked about. You can then also maybe call someone and talk about financial literacy. And that would help us as a community build generational wealth. And once again, thank you so much, Pam and Reverend Mason, for having me today and allowing me to share my vision with your audience.
Thank you so much. Tell us again how we could go back and watch those videos.
Yes. And so what we can do is that I can, it's actually ASFIP, Financial Literacy YouTube videos. And that will take you to the YouTube, and you can then pull up the videos that way.
Okay. ASFIP.
Yes. And ultimately what I can do is I can show you the video again. And let's see here. So you can see that this is the address right here.
Got it. Awesome. Yes, ASFP Foundation. Got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all, folks. Of course, thank you for joining us here on today. You've heard from Deacons Wright of Decatur Capital Management. Please contact him today for any of your financial needs. Of course, here at Birmingham Bible Church, every Wednesday here at 12 noon, we always want to bring to you a segment to educate you, to enlighten you, and to empower you with topics pertaining to your life and for your living. And so in the words of Porky Pig, that's all, folks. Have a great day. Thank you, Deacons.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.